Okay, so at this point, I have my computer, as you can see. Oh, it's like teacher inception. I'm like there in the reflection and then again and then again. Ah! Anyway, uh, the syllabus is in the Getting Started module. I'd like you to have that up now. And so I'm not going to go over every single piece of it because you have your own eyeballs. And one of the things I would like you to do over these next couple weeks is just to read through it on your own. But there are a few highlights I do want to touch on just to give my perspective. So the course information, where it says TBR, General Education Core Competencies, that stands for the Tennessee Board of Regents. And so that is the information that the state of Tennessee wants you to get out of this class. I'm not saying it's not important, we're just not going to go over it today. You can read that on your own. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of page 2, where it says course materials, there is no textbook for this class. All you need is a computer with working internet. And you already have that because you're here. So, well done. The theme I already talked to you about was educate me. You're going to teach me about yourselves and what matters to you most in your world today. You have a significant amount of largesse, maybe the better word would be agency, in choosing what you want to write about for this class, for your big projects. The grading scale for community college is 10 points. So 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 90 is a B, so on and so forth. And so let's talk about the grading procedure for this class. So it breaks down into 3 categories: discussion board assignments, quizzes, and big writing projects. And essentially for this course, it's pretty simple because I am not a math whiz. So everything that you do in the class has a point value that adds up to 100 points total, and that's how I get your grade. So you go into the class with a 100. Yay, congratulations. Like as of this moment, you have a 100 in Comp 1. So you can tell your parents that. For everything that isn't completed, the grade goes down. So let's say your first discussion board assignment is worth 5 points. If you don't do it, that puts you down to a 95, and so on and so forth. So the discussion board assignments, I mentioned this before, but they're generally shorter, more informal responses to something that we've read that I would like you to discuss. And it can be in first person, you can use contractions, you will have a word minimum and maximum for those, and those will be posted on the discussion board on our Momentum page. There will be 2 quizzes this semester. One of them will be over a module about just kind of reminders about grammar and punctuation. The second one is about, MLA citation and best practices for research. So both of those quizzes together total 15 points. And then the writing projects. You have a big personal essay, the college essay that I mentioned before. You have a big research paper that you're going to be kind of the lead driver for deciding what to write about. And then there's something called a prospectus and annotated bibliography that comes before the research paper. All of those projects together count for 55 points total. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more later about how I physically keep the grades. But if you look at plagiarism and academic integrity, please read that section, especially read our policy on AI. I would like to look you in your faces right now and come to you with full humility. I know that I cannot control you, that you are an ocean away from me, and I cannot see what you are doing, but I'm asking you humbly not to use AI for this class. Please do not use AI for the discussion assignments. Please do not use AI for the papers. Please do not use AI for idea generation. Do not use it for research. I want to be as clear as humanly possible. The use of AI generated material without instructor permission is prohibited in this class. You do not have instructor permission to use AI for Comp 1 ever. There's reasons for that, and we're going to go over them in more detail, but I need this to all be from you, from your big, beautiful brains, and especially for where you're at developmentally at this point in your life, it's really important that you are doing that cognitive work on your own for your successful development, not just as a student, but as a person, and I believe that. So, I am not saying like, oh, all AI bad forever, like there is no ethical use of AI. That's not what just came out of my mouth. I just said this is not the place where we're going to use it for any reason. My old boss used to say cheating is like running into an 8-lane highway to pick up a nickel. The risk vastly outweighs the reward, and I do believe that. We also have ways to catch it if you do use it. I'm just mentioning that as a formality. I know you're not even going to be tempted to because you're such wonderful students. It's not even going to cross your mind to use AI. But the places where you submit your papers do catch it. I have a lot of ways of catching it, so it definitely still is like running into that 8-lane highway. So that's enough unpleasantness about that. I have talked to you already about how you're going to have the option of revising your papers for this class. I do have some just rules/policies. Please be a little patient with me in regard to grading where it says 1A there. I absolutely love my job. I'm so thankful to be here. And those are not just empty words. I just want to give you a heads up that if you are used to taking online classes where, for instance, your tests were done via Scantron and you got instant results, you may need to tamp those expectations for how long it will take for you to get detailed essay feedback in Comp 1. Because from my perspective, you're paying to have a good experience. You're paying to get detailed, meticulous, line-by-line feedback, and I'm not doing my job if I don't deliver that to you. I don't want to cheat either. I want to give you the utmost of what I'm capable of as far as a response goes. Normally, if you're in person, I like to do like stickers and decorations, and I usually give out like prizes for completing their essays on time, and fortunately I can't do that with you, and that makes me sad. But what I can do is put 110% into giving you feedback, and that just takes time. That takes more time than... Oh! I'm not going to re-record it. It is what it is. Anyway, it takes more time than a machine looking at a Scantron. It takes more time than looking at a math proof. So just be a little merciful. That being said, on the outside of that, the Faculty Senate at Roane State Community College has stated that 2 weeks is the maximum time limit for the return of all graded material. So you can always expect your work back from any Roane State class at a maximum of 2 weeks. 2 weeks is where the limit runs out. I've only had like one situation where it took me longer than 2 weeks, and that was due to a family health emergency. But I'm usually, even with all of my many comp classes, I try to be right on that. And then, this one's pretty simple, but it throws people for a loop. So I do not utilize the grade book on Momentum. And the reason for that is I actually carry a physical grade book with me. It is the least hackable solution for grade storage. I am, no pun intended, old school. And it has your name in it. It has all of your assignments. For in-person classes, it has their attendance as well. So I will never post those online. And I know that can be confusing when you have other classes who do, but we have something called academic freedom, which basically means that the teachers pretty much have the liberty to conduct each of their classes in the way that they deem best, and this is one of those things that comes down to that, where I'm not actually mandated to put grades into that system, and so I don't. However, I want to be extremely clear with you, that does not mean they are a secret. In fact, I am probably far more open about grades than professors who don't use a book, a physical book. I will tell you what your grade is at any time. Anytime that you want to know, reach out and ask me and I will tell you. Or throughout the semester at various points, I will also be giving you grade updates. Every time that I give you feedback on something, I will also tell you, by the way, right now you're at a 93. You have an A. Good job. So it's not a mystery. It's just not publicly on Momentum. So it's not Momentum, but it's not a mystery either. So I'm going to wrap up this part of the video here, and we're going to pick up with number 2 on ground rules in the next video, because they told us to keep these to 10 minutes so that if you needed to make your way through them a little bit at a time, you wouldn't be having to pause and then find your place again. So we're going to pick up in the next video at number 2 under ground rules for Professor Bolden.